This lesson, circuit analysis. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to analyze complex electric circuits using Kirchhoff's circuits law. Up to now, you have worked with simple series and parallel circuits, but when circuits become more complex with multiple branches and loops, we need a powerful method. That's where Kirchhoff's laws comes in. Let's begin with the Kirchhoff's current law, also called as KCL. So KCL states that at any junction in a circuit, the total current entering the junction equals the total current leaving the junction. Here you can see in this diagram, this is the part of a circuit, and here you can see this is junction where all the branches of the current are meeting. So where all the wires they meet up together is called as junction. So here you can see current I1 and I2 seems to enter the junctions. This would be an incoming current. So the sum of I1 and I2 would be considered as incoming current. So I1 plus I2 is incoming current, and the current that is leaving out through the circuit would be I4, I3 and I5. So these current are leaving from away from the circuit, so this would be outgoing current. So as per this KCL law, incoming current equals outgoing current. So outgoing current is I3 plus I4 plus I5. So mathematically we can write incoming current equals outgoing current, and then we have to see which currents are incoming and which currents are outgoing. Another thing, while solving the circuits, we have to keep in mind that current in series circuit remains the same throughout the circuit, and in parallel, the current divides or splits up. So, these 3 points we have to keep in mind whenever we are applying KCL. One thing again we have to keep in mind that KCL is based on conservation of charge. That charge cannot be created nor destroyed. So that's why incoming current would be outgoing equal to outgoing current, because there is no loss or no gain in the charge. So that's why incoming current equals outgoing current. Now let's do this example. So here we have a circuit in which we are required to find the unknown currents in the following circuit. So here you can see the circuit. Let's solve this using the KCL law. So you can see the circuit. Here you can see we have the main circuit, and from the battery we have 3 ampere current which is flowing into the wire, top wire, 0.8 ampere current flowing downward through a branch, and at this junction, as you can see, let me draw the direction of the current from here. So yes, from positive terminal of battery, the current will start moving. It will go into this branch, and this current is 3 ampere. And here, this is called as junction, because this is the point where the current will have 2 pathways to go. One through this wire, and another is this junction, is this wire. So here in this wire, you can see the blue color wire, the current flowing is 0.8 ampere. So out of 3 ampere, 0.8 ampere will flow through this wire. So then we have to calculate the current through this wire. So again, as we have discussed earlier, the current at the junction, incoming current equals outgoing current. So it would be 3 ampere is the incoming current. So I can write I incoming equals I outgoing. So incoming current is 3 ampere. I can write now 3 ampere equals I outgoing. So what's the outgoing current? It would be the sum of 0.8 ampere and I, which is unknown, which we need to calculate. So I can write I out is 0.8 plus I. I can solve this by rearranging the equation. 3 minus 0.8 equals I. So here we just have used the KCL law, which is incoming current equals outgoing current. So the remaining current, so 0.8 ampere is flowing through this section of wire. So of course the remaining current will flow through the other section of the wire, which will be 2.2 amperes. So we have calculated this current in this branch. Now this current 2.2 ampere will flow in this section of wire, and of course will flow in this section of wire, and the direction of the current would be, as you can see, current will flow through this wire, then it will go downwards, and of course now it will go to the left side. So this is the current direction. So direction of the current is towards left. Now as you can see, again, this is the junction. This is another junction where the current 0.8 ampere and the current 2.2 ampere will meet up. So as they will meet up here. So the total current at this junction will become the sum of 0.8 and 2.2 ampere. So as you can see, the current in this junction, the incoming current would be now 0.8 and 2.2. So it will be equal to the outgoing current. So here in this junction, after these two currents will meet up, 0.8 and 2.2, they will meet up here and together they will move in this direction and in this branch of the wire. So in order to calculate the current that will flow in this section of wire, we have to calculate the total current, which will be the sum of 0.8 and 2.2 ampere. So this current would be the sum of these two currents, because this is going to be the incoming current and this will be the outgoing current. So here these two currents will meet up. So here it will be 0.8 plus 2.2, which will be 3 ampere, because this was the current that left from the battery. So now here we can write 0.8 plus 2.2 would be the current in this circuit, which will give us 3 ampere. And as you can see, 3 ampere will eventually goes back to the negative terminal of the battery. So the current that started from the battery was 3 ampere and the same amount of current will enter the battery. So it means our current distribution was correct. So it was 3 ampere here, it was 3 ampere here. So here in this question, we have just applied the KCL law, which states I incoming equals I outgoing. Now let's proceed with this example. In this, we have to show the direction of each current and find the unknown currents. So again, let's start with the positive terminal of the battery. So you always have to start with the positive terminal of the battery. This is how the current will flow. This is the direction of the current. We do not know the total current here, which we need to calculate. Now you can see the current will go in this direction, then it will move to this wire right side. Now as it will reach this junction, this is the junction where it will lead to two multiple paths. So this is the junction. The blue color dot that I have made is representing the junction. So some of the total current from the total current, some of the current will move in this section of wire, which is 8 ampere and 5 ampere. So as you can see, this was the incoming current. After reaching the junction, these two currents, 5 ampere, these two current 5 ampere and 8 ampere here becomes the outgoing current. So what would be the incoming current? It would be the summation of 5 ampere and 8 ampere, because we know that I incoming equals I outgoing. So here the outgoing current from this section was 5 ampere plus 8 ampere. So it will become 13 ampere. So we started with 13 ampere of the current. So in this section of wire, we have 13 ampere of current. So now as the current 5 ampere will move here, it will reach another junction, which I have drawn with the red color. So this 5 ampere current will reach here, and at this junction again, the current got two multiple pathways. So one is here and another pathway is this one. So out of 5 ampere, which will be the incoming current for this junction, so I incoming, we are again going to apply I incoming equals I outgoing. So incoming current for this junction is 5 ampere. So some of the current will flow in this section of wire, which is 2 ampere. So this is going to be one of the outgoing currents. So I outgoing would be 2 ampere plus this unknown current, which we have to find. So after rearranging the equation, we will get 5 ampere minus 2 ampere, which will be 3 ampere. So here we have 3 ampere of current flowing in the circuit. Now this 3 ampere of current will flow in this branch of the wire and again will move to the left side here. So current in this branch will also be 3 ampere. Now as you can see, the current from this branch, which is 2 ampere, and current from this branch, which is 3 ampere, will meet up here. So this will act as the incoming current and this will leave the branch as the outgoing current. So this is the outgoing current. So 2 ampere plus 3 ampere will meet up here and will give rise to 5 ampere of current. So in this branch, we have 5 ampere of current. Now, as this current is moving, it will keep on moving till it will reach the junction. And from here, you can see this is the junction. So another current is also flowing and will reach the junction here, which is 8 ampere. So 8 ampere and 5 ampere will together make 13 ampere. So this current will flow in this section of wire, which is 13 ampere. So as we have started with 13 ampere and we are ending with 13 ampere. So our current distribution is correct. So on this example, now here you can see we have to again determine the direction of the current in each of the branches, and then we have to calculate the unknown currents. So here you can see we see the main battery here. So the current will start from the positive end of the battery. So I will always make sure that the current is starting from the positive end of the battery, as this is the convention direction for the current. Now as the current is moving to the right side here, and it will go up to the wire this, and here it will reach the junction. So this current I will be distributed into three multiple pathways. So in the first pathway, which is this one, current will be 0.5 ampere. The second pathway, the current is 2 ampere. And the third pathway, let's say current, we do not know the current. Let's say this current is X. We don't know what the current is, right? So I can write this total current I splits up into 0.5, 2 ampere and X. So let's write first equation. I equals 0.5 ampere plus 2 ampere plus X, which is incoming current equals outgoing current. Now, this 0.5 ampere will reach the junction, which is this, and this 2 ampere will also reach this junction, and X will also reach this junction. So now these three currents will meet the junction here and will together go into this branch. And as you can see, the current here is 5 ampere. So now again we can say that 0.5 plus 2 ampere plus X is the total current. So what's the total current here now? 5 ampere. So I can write I is 5. So 5 equals 0.5 plus 2 ampere plus X. So now we can just determine the value of X. So 5 equals, I can just solve this. 0.5 and 2 is 2.5 ampere plus X. So X is going to be 5 minus 2.5, which will give us 2.5 ampere. So the current in the third branch we have calculated is 2.5 ampere. So now this current, 5 ampere current, is moving in this branch, and as 5 ampere will reach this junction. So here some of the current will flow in this branch of the wire and some of the current will flow in this branch of the wire. So in the first branch we are given that the current which is flowing is 2 ampere. So again I can apply incoming current equals outgoing current, and for this junction, for this particular junction, the incoming current is 5 ampere and outgoing current is this unknown value, let's say Y, and another outgoing current is 2. So Y would be 5 minus 2 ampere, which is 3 ampere. So this is the unknown current. So in this branch 3 ampere current is flowing. In this branch 2.5 ampere is flowing, and the total amount of current that we have seen here, that would be 5 ampere. So this is how we have to apply KCL while we are solving for current distribution in different circuits. Now, another law is that we have to discuss is KVL, which is Kirchhoff's voltage law. So now Kirchhoff voltage law states that a charge flows around a closed loop. The total voltage gained equals the total voltage lost. Again, this is in accordance with the conservation of energy. So voltage gain would be equal to voltage loss. And again, we have to keep in mind. So first, this is very important equation for Kirchhoff's voltage law, which is voltage gain equals voltage loss. Second, we have to keep in mind that in series circuit, voltage splits up, and in the parallel circuit, voltage of the wire remains the same as if the circuit is in parallel. So voltage remains the same across the resistor. So these three things we have to keep in mind while we are applying Kirchhoff's voltage law. So let's see here. Let's do an example to understand this concept. So here we have to find the unknown voltage and voltage drops. So here you can see the voltage across the battery is 10 volt. Now we have to determine the voltage drop across this resistor and the voltage drop across this resistor. Now, you can see here that these two resistors are connected in parallel. So as they are connected in parallel, we know that voltage remains the same. So 10 voltage here, so 10 voltage drop would be here and 10 voltage drop would be here. So voltage remains the same in parallel. That's why we are able to calculate the voltage across each resistor. Let's see how to apply KVL for this circuit. Before we start this question, we should keep in mind that there would always be a voltage gain across the battery and there would be always a voltage drop across the resistor. So across the battery, it would be always a voltage gain, and across the resistor, voltage will always drop. So as you can see, let's mark the nodes here. So this is, let's say, node A. This is, let's say, node B. So as you can see, this 0 volt can be set as a reference. So from 0 volt, you can see as we are going from A to B, we have only one battery. So the voltage will gain across this. So it would be a 12 voltage gain. So from 0 to the battery and then to the point B, it would be total 12 volt gain. Now, as we will move from B to, let's say, this node C, we have seen that at B we have 12 volt. But as we will move across B, from B to C, we have a resistor across which the voltage drop is 8 volt. So it would be 12 volt minus 8 volt, because the voltage 8 volts will drop across the resistor. Now we are left with 4 volt. So at C we are left with 4 volt. Now again, as we are going from 4 volt to this point is again at the reference level, which is 0 volt. So this is 0 volt. So voltage drop will be 4 minus 0, 4 volt. Again, there's no resistor as we are moving from this section to this resistor. So that's why there would be 4 volt voltage here. And there would be 0 voltage here since it is at the reference, and voltage drop in all will become 4 volt. So we have seen how to determine voltage across the different resistors using KVL. Now, in the last section of this lesson, we will combine KCL, KVL, and Ohm's law in order to determine unknown voltage, current, and resistances. So here you can see we have a circuit where the main battery is 18 volt. We do not know the total current. We have another resistor which across which the voltage is 6 volts and current is 4 ampere. Another resistor which has current 3 ampere. We do not know the voltage, and the third resistor we do not know the I and V. So let's see how to apply these laws to determine these unknown quantities. So we can start with the KCL first. Before we start with KCL, we have to start with the current distribution. So you can see we will always start the current from the positive terminal of the battery. So let's say the total current emanating out is I, and it will go to this resistor which is 4 ampere. So this I current is 4 ampere, because you see there's no junction that this current has met. So this would be 4 ampere and total current is 4 ampere. As this 4 ampere will reach this junction, it will now have two pathways. One this and another one. Let's draw the another color. This. So one pathway is this, another pathway is this, and this current will flow in this circuit, same branch. Now you can see this is how the current distribution will take place. Now this current will flow through this branch, will go through this branch, and as you can see, this blue color current that we have drawn from this branch and this current will meet up here. So we do not know this current, so we can mark this current as X. This is 3 ampere, which is the known value. So this 3 ampere current from this branch and X from this branch will meet up at this junction. And as they will meet up with this junction, together they will flow in this branch and will go up to the negative terminal of the battery. So this is how we have made the current distribution. Now let's see, this is 4 ampere of current. So incoming current is 4 ampere, which will be equal to the outgoing current. So incoming current is 4 ampere, and at this junction what would be the outgoing current? 3 ampere, plus we do not know the other outgoing current, which will become as X. So I can write 3 ampere plus X. So clearly the unknown current would be 1 ampere on solving. So we got this value of current, which is 1 ampere. This is also 1 ampere, and this 1 ampere and 3 ampere will meet up here. So since 3 ampere, 1 ampere will meet up here, so the total current will become 4 ampere. So we started with the 4 ampere and we ended up with the 4 ampere. So it means our current distribution is correct. Now let's see if we can use KVL to determine the voltage drop. So as you can see, there's 18-volt gain across the battery. Now drop across this first resistor is 6 volt, and we know that as per the KVL, voltage gain should be equal to voltage drop. So voltage gain should be equal to voltage drop. So what's the voltage gain across this battery? It is 18 volt. So voltage drop would be across 6 volt and across this second resistor. So we know the voltage drop across the first resistor is 6 volt. So I can write 6 volt plus we do not know the voltage drop across this resistor, so we just write V here. So 18 volt minus 6 volt will be the voltage drop, which will give us 12 volt. So we have 12 volt across this resistor. Now since we have 12 volt across this resistor and these two resistors are in parallel with each other, so the voltage will be same. So it would be 12 voltage here as well. So we have determined the unknown voltages across these resistors. This across this resistor we were already given with the voltage. So we have determined the voltage drops, we have determined the current, and now let's determine the resistances. So you can see this, let's mark this as R1. This is the first resistor. So we can apply Ohm's law now to determine the resistance. So across across this resistance R1, we can use the Ohm's law for determining the resistance. So for R1, we can use Ohm's law, which is V equals IR1. We do know what is the voltage across resistor 1, which is 6 volt. I can just plug in the value. I1 is 4 ampere and R1 is unknown quantity. So we can rearrange the equation. It would be 6 volt divided by 4 ampere, which would be the resistance. So we can just write that 6 divided by 4 is resistance 1. So 6 divided by 4 we can calculate, which will give us 1.5 ohms. So we have used the Ohm's law here. Now next you can see for the second resistor, which is, let's say, this one R2, we have the current which is 3 ampere and voltage 12 volt. So across R2 we can determine the resistance. So R2 we can use the Ohm's law again. So Ohm's law is V equals IR. So V2 equals I2 times R2. V2 we do know it's 12 volt. I2 we do know is 3 ampere multiplied by R2. Again, we can just solve this. 12 volt divided by 3 ampere will give us the resistance, which is 4 ohms. So this is 4 ohms across R2. Now we have I here, which is 1 ampere, and V3. So we can also calculate the resistance R3. So for resistance R3, we can just use V equals IR3. So we can determine R3. So for R3, we can again use V equals IR. Since it is resistor 3, we can just write I3 R3. V3, as you can see, is 12 volt again across this resistor. I3 is 1 ampere times R3. So R3 is going to be 12 divided by 1. So 12 ohm is R3. So we have determined R3 here, which is 12 ohm. So you can see how we have used the Ohm's law to determine R1, R2 and R3. This is how you are going to combine all the laws together to analyze the circuit.